Hello there. This video is going to be a little different than my previous ones, as I will be providing some voice commentary on it as I received a request for it. That is not something I normally do, as I'm usually just putting up some simple replays of the various regiments in skirmish mode, and while I do have plans to put it up perhaps in operations, but I quite haven't reached that point yet, as I've kind of been waiting for perhaps maybe a few more patches just to make sure any of the large bugs are out of the way. I originally just started doing this to put up a couple of replays for my friends to view the game, and while they liked what they saw, in their case, it was kind of a deal breaker that there was no multiplayer in it. I still enjoy it as a single player game, and I understand from the developer's point of view why he went with single player only, as he was pretty much working on the game by himself until the publisher came in and provided him a little bit of extra help with what I understand the models. But all things considered, if you had the choice between the two, I believe single player was the correct way to go, and will probably result in more lifetime sales of the games, because who knows if multiplayer would have been populated enough to keep it going on its own. But hopefully in Regiments 2 we'll have multiplayer, as this is actually in my opinion, a great war game, a cross between, in my opinion, World in Conflict and War Games War No series. But enough of that, let's get into a skirmish. I've usually started the videos out with, a few seconds of just seeing how I've started the initial settings. Meeting engagements is what I usually play, but there are three game modes for skirmish: meeting engagement, attack, and mobile defense. Mobile offense and attack do have an extra difficulty on it, master, that is not available on skirmish. There should be a video up now of a mobile defense game that I played, one of the first or second ones I played, and it wasn't too difficult. I'll put that in quotes. It did get quite dicey near the end, and I think the mobile defense is very map dependent and division dependent, so I think I might have just gotten lucky with that one playing it on master. Attack I've had some difficulty with. I have not won one yet on master, though there have been quite a few changes in the patches so far. The very first attack mode I played, the computer received over 25 reinforcements in the first 5 minutes. And later on, there was a bug in the game where the AI was getting points for losses that in this mode that it should not have been, which was resulting in way too many reinforcements. They also nerfed the amount of points you get passively in this mode, which is where we are now with the game, but it makes it extremely hard to get all the points necessary within the 30-minute time frame. I'll probably keep trying that mode at some point, but I have a feeling that there's going to be more patches coming down the line. For right now, let's just go to a regular meeting engagement game. I usually just leave the points alone, the options alone. However, I will say that pre-placed units probably greatly favors the player, just because the enemy AI really gets hung up on these sometimes and will go after them rather than taking capture zones, and will sometimes even get stuck on the map for quite a while, giving you a lot of time just to capture and sit on a point with no counterattack really coming. So let's play a division in NATO I have not played yet, which I think I have not played this one yet, the Panzerlehrbrigade 9. I will be butchering a lot of these names, so especially the German ones. And we will change the AI to hard. As you can see, there is no master on meeting engagement. And let's choose someone we have not played against. And let's go with, since we're playing a West German division, let's play a East German division, which let's go with this one, which I don't think I've played against yet, the Mot-Shutzenregiment 9. Well, I guess that's some nice symmetry there, 9-9 against each other. We will also choose a map that I have not played before. There's Sumpf. This is something I've usually left on random. You can see there's quite a lot of times of day, weather conditions and such. You very rarely, if you leave on random, just because there's not that many night options. But uh, in this case, I will actually choose night, as that has some extra mechanics, and that's so I'll just go through. So we'll just choose that so we can see that in the playthrough. And that's it. I will just pause for a second because I will also probably be including a version of the of this replay without my voice as well on YouTube. Okay, so we have a night map here because I did choose it. Um, we are starting this side of the map. This looks like an interesting position to start from. The map does seem to have a bit of symmetry to it considering these hills. Uh, so since I have not played this division before, well, first we'll go with it is a night map, so this division starts with artillery smoke, but every division, when it's a night map, gets artillery illumination, which will, make the area that it's in as bright as day. And now that once we go to the vehicles, I'll explain why that is sometimes important. So this division, I believe, is an armored division, so we're probably going to have a lot of armor units. But here we have our recon unit, the Lukes, I believe it's pronounced. It looks like Luches, but it is Lukes, I believe. You can see the stats here on the right, and this is kind of why I wanted to choose a night map, because you can see that there is a night vision stat for all vehicles. So some vehicles will have a much better opportunity to see in the dark compared to other vehicles. I haven't gone entirely through the Soviet divisions, but I believe a lot of NATO equipment comes with some sort of night vision. In this case, this one has thermal. This division apparently has a lot of Leopards, Leopard 2s, I should say. So these are excellent tanks to have. This is a full-size platoon that also has a little bit of veterancy to it. And that's probably the primary reason to try keeping units alive, is that they will increase their efficiency and combat stat, or I don't know if the combat stats go up, but as long as they have more veterancy. So we have a full strength platoon here, and we have some slightly under strength ones of the Leopard 2A4s, which is still great. And honestly, between the three of these, just with the amount of points I get, most likely when I go for a new task force, I most likely don't. I'd either be looking for some cheap tanks or no tanks at all, because my tanks are really covered by these three. Apparently we only have a little bit of infantry, so I'm probably going to be wanting to get an infantry task force relatively soon. But we do have just an M113 with some infantry in here. This isn't all that great. The M113 isn't a really great fighting vehicle, so this is, going to be mostly for defense. And you can also see, unlike the previous ones which had night vision, this one has nothing. So this one would really need that artillery illumination to see anything out there at a distance or at its full vision radius. We do come with some dedicated AA, which is nice. Most divisions do, or regiments do start with this, but I have found occasionally they do not. It's always good to have one dedicated one, because you never, one, it'll well, it may not always shoot down tactical strikes coming in from planes. It will often cause them to stress or panic thereby missing their targets. And we also have a mortar, which is nice. In my previous videos, you'll probably see I do not use dedicated heavy artillery a lot of the time. This is because usually you need to, or you do need, with heavy artillery, you need to manually target with it. With a mortar, as long as it's in range, it will automatically target. It may not always choose the best targets. Sometimes it will start hitting tanks instead of the infantry you want, but in any case, usually artillery cause some sort of stress or panic to the tanks, thereby decreasing their accuracy. So it's always great to just have a mortar that'll shoot off on its own. And I believe that's it. So now that I have an idea of what units I have, I'm always pretty much going to call the recon out of the bat. We can either go here on the far left with it, or we can try to get on the hill so we can try to overlook this area. Since this is one of the faster movers, I'm probably going to have it. We'll probably move here as fast as possible and then back up into the hill, trying to make our way over here so they can kind of look back and forth to get an idea of what's out there. The vision over here is kind of, once we get here, it's a little bit better, but there's going to be a little bit of goofiness with the vision because of all these trees here. So going to have to be a little careful with that, but here is the choice of where I want to take in two of these, which would be quite expensive, or just one of the full, I can just take in one of those. I think for right now, I'm going to take the tank and I'm going to head in this direction because there's a lot of open ground for the tanks to fight in over here. That tree line, if I intend to move on it, will probably be a little goofy. We'll find out. I'm not sure if I'd be able to reach the city, but I honestly don't have enough infantry right now to push that far, so I probably won't be. I'll probably take Bravo if I can and then move. Yeah, that's still kind of weird to put that there, but we'll see how it goes. The infantry probably I'll send it up here and then maybe. That's looking at the distance, this isn't great, so most likely I'll try having the infantry go up into the woods here and get in close with some things. As you can see that, well, the M113s themselves have no anti-tank. Once the infantry are out, they do have 4 anti-tank missile launchers, which, since they don't say specifically what they are, I don't have an idea of what their combat is on them, but they usually do an okay job as long as they're in close. The AA is going to be an interesting one to play because this hill kind of provides some difficulty with being able to see, but we're probably going to need this out somewhere for right now, and I'm probably going to move it up with the tanks for right now. We're going to want to get the mortar out as well. As you can see here, I'm actually, running out of units, so that tanks were quite expensive. So we'll probably have the mortar here. Remember, it has a 4,000 meter radius, so I'm probably going to move it up along the side of this hill so it can kind of give support to anything within that range. And that's it. We'll see how it goes. Usually like taking a look at the units to start, but really not that important. One thing I have not used a lot, and people should use, is you can definitely speed up this speed a little bit to start to get everything there a little faster. You can also make it go slower if things are getting really out of control. I normally leave it at 1 because I honestly, which there's no reason to do it, I really play it almost like it's a multiplayer match, which doesn't make a lot of sense because Regiments 1 will never have multiplayer, but I kind of come with that mindset that I shouldn't use pause as a crutch, but this is a single player game and there's honestly no reason not to use it. You should honestly use it all the time. That's the great thing about it. So do not hesitate to use pause, do not hesitate to mess with the speed settings. Just because I do not use it a lot does not mean other people should not. We can see we have some pre-in-place units here, so this zone is actually going to be quite protected on this side for quite a while. So I'll most likely, honestly, just put these guys here and move those guys up because they'll be pretty well protected back here. You can see I also decided to hold weapons fire on the recon units here because you can see there's also a stealth modifier for these. So as long as they're not shooting, they can honestly often get very, very close to enemy units without being seen. But the second they open fire, they can be pretty much seen at max range. So while they do have, a nice autocannon on them that, might be able to do some damage on the side, for the most part, these recon units are pretty much strictly recon, and there's really no reason not to.
Zone captured.
not to have, or there's no reason to have the weapons fire on. Okay, so we can see the AI is actually capturing both these points, which is a little interesting. I've noticed that the AI, depending on the map, will sometimes ignore points. I don't know if it's regiment based or what, but it is interesting that this sometimes happens. I probably should have sent these guys to the middle one. Since I know there's something out here, I'm probably going to be backing up a little bit. And we actually have some great placements with our pre-placed units. This is actually really working in our favor. Probably want to start using these mortar, moving these guys up. Going to give them an attack move, so as soon as there's something theoretically in range, they will start opening fire. Okay, see, the AI just used artillery illumination, so they want their guys to be able to see what's going on. So now that my guys are within their weapons range here, when they have their troops deployed, they're going to probably start... actually, she might be able to get... No, that's still front armor. Okay, looks like everything is kind of heading this way, so this is a little bit risky here because I don't know if there's anything in these woods. And I risked a chance of being side shot by going by the woods this way.
New task force available.
Probably gonna back them up a little bit. That was kind of okay. The mortars are shooting. We do have enough to bring in another tank here, and we do have. I should have gone to task force first, but I wasn't thinking there. Okay, so since we are a armored division pretty much, well, these are nice to have. We honestly already have more than enough Leopard 2A4s. I don't think I would ever take this unless I really wanted the rally ability, which I honestly very rarely use. It's nice because if a unit's suppressed or not, it can get them out of that state and increase their accuracy. So theoretically, you know, if you're charging under fire, it may help, but I very rarely use it. Same with this one. Well, these ones are slightly cheaper. Once again, I have all this already and I really don't need it. Same with this one, and though it does come with, we already have artillery smoke, but since it's night, smoke is still useful, but I don't think I need that much. These are cheaper tanks, which would be nice to use. These are older generation Leopard 1s, so while they would be potentially nice, I don't honestly think I need them. Here's what I'm probably more interested in for my first choice is I want more infantry. So we have Martyrs. These ones are not equipped with any ATGM. They do have an autocannon on them, which will is nice. The artillery strike. I prefer the artillery strike, the artillery barrage, because it's a little bit faster and a little bit cheaper. In both cases, I usually find them underwhelming. And this one does come with another Luke's for a scout, and I will probably be needing another scout because I only have one. That's kind of bad, especially with this many trees, hills. It is making it difficult to find enemy units. Here's another mechanized force. These are a bunch of MM13s. Once again, the MM13 will, you know, good enough for transport. It really doesn't add a whole lot, but it does come with. It is cheap. Does come with the cluster bomb. Cluster bombs I really like. They come in fast, they're relatively cheap, and they do a ton of damage to armored units. I actually, if this is probably my favorite tactical call-in, just because for the price, it actually does do a lot of damage, and I've wiped out entire platoons a lot with this one. This is probably my favorite, but I don't always bring it in just because often the task force it comes with is something I'm not interested in. Because we also have some more Leopard 2s on this one and another M106, but once again, we already have that. This one, this is kind of what I was hoping to find, a Martyr with a Milan. which is a nice ATGM to have on it. So this would be a really nice one to place somewhere and fortify, because it'll do a lot of damage potentially against armored targets. And you know, we have another martyr with yeah, all these martyrs always have an autogun. Napalm, I got mixed feelings on it. It definitely makes units suppressed and panic quite a lot, though even against armor targets, but its damage is questionable. And like in games of World and Conflict, the great thing about napalm is even if you didn't hit anything with it, it would usually burn down forest, you know, taking away that cover that the forest provided. In this game, it doesn't do that. So it's not bad, especially against emplacements of infantry. I mean, I've seen it burn down the infantry in those emplacements, which is nice, but it's for the price. If this was at 20, 25 maybe, I'd be a bit more interested in it, but at 30, yeah. Artillery groups. This, like I said, I usually stay away from the heavy artillery, and I already have a mortar, and these M113s are meh, so I most likely wouldn't touch this. Kind of the same with this one. I mean, the cheap tanks are nice, and the MLRS is great for suppressing an area. It's kind of just like the tactical artillery strike essentially, and its ability to panic and whatnot. But once again, it's not something I use very much. I think I might have one video where I kind of took it out just for fun. But I think probably the most disappointing thing about it is the graphics for it aren't pretty enough. Maybe if it had some of the I kind of actually like the exaggerated smoke zone the MLRS is having worn out right now. Those are actually kind of fun to look at. The cheap tanks are kind of interesting, or the Leopard ones. These would actually kind of be nice to just, well, they don't have a lot. These are kind of just great trash tanks to throw when you're in a close fight and you just need that kind of armor to hit something. But once again, I probably won't be touching this one. Here's the helicopter task force. Yeah, West Germany does not have great helicopters. This would kind of, well, I like having helicopters that kind of throw somewhere randomly in the line. This one, it only comes with an ATGM. It doesn't, the Americans, I'm not sure if Belgium has the Apaches yet. Or did, yeah, I can't remember if it's Netherlands or Belgium that, but either way, in either case, since they don't have Cobras, they don't have Apaches, which, you know, have rockets and, you know, machine gun to, you know, take on, you know, other units. But these ones are just strictly pretty much to use against tanks and whatnot, and so they're cheap, and they're great to throw potentially into if you have a hole or panicking against armored offensives. But they're probably, we'll put in quotes, the least useful helicopters in the game. But they're still useful. They're just, whether they're worth taking as your first task force is extremely debatable. Okay, this command groups will help, you know, increase the fighting ability of your troops. And this one's actually a nice one because, you know, it's a nice Leopard A2, A4. So it's actually, you know, great tanks, you know, have, because they can also fight too and whatnot. Unlike some of the other HQs, which are, you know, just strictly HQs, don't do anything other than provide the command bonus. These ones, you know, you can actually have holding part of the line. For the price, it's strongly debatable whether I want to take that. The assault engineers are kind of interesting. I've never really used them, but, you know, if you're getting in close fights, that's a good thing to have. Artillery barrage, like I said, I usually prefer the artillery strike to the artillery barrage just because it takes longer to come in, really doesn't provide that much more artillery, and costs more. I usually stay away from the artillery barrage, and I don't really probably need this AA at the moment. The recon task force is always an interesting one to take potentially because you can never have enough recon. Other than, well, I guess you can by point wise, but it's always nice to have some more as an option. The artillery DPICM, honestly, while I've used it, I haven't had, for the price, I think it's not good enough. If the price was maybe 40, 35, I might be more inclined to use it, but honestly, well, it does okay against the armor targets. It's not that great. And once again, we come with, if we didn't have Leopard's 2A4s already, or I mean, we have, I would say I would probably take this, but we already have them, so this means I'm not interested in this one. It's kind of the same over here. We have, you know, overstrength recon ones, which if they had missiles on them, or ATGMs, this would be great. But honestly, probably too expensive for recon. The cheap tanks, once again, would be potentially nice for some situations, but I don't really need them. And then we have some nice, some okay infantry here, especially when they have the air defenses with them. But most likely, I will be going for one of these mechanized task forces. And it's honestly, this one I would take for the cluster. It's nice, but this one I really like the Martyr 1A2 with the Milan ATGM. I really don't need this, but I also get this with this one, so it is really a tough choice, but I'm probably just going to go with this one. Plus the fire might look nicer at night. Okay, so here, that's a bit of a problem. We do have helicopters. Right now they're kind of just hanging out, not doing anything. They might be shooting at, actually they might be shooting at these guys, so I kind of need to start, this is going to be a weird one to get to. That BMP might cause some problems. Having definitely, ooh, okay, so they dropped some smoke on there, and that was interesting to try to hide. Okay, this is going to be a problem. We got a lot of things coming. We have some tanks coming around here, which will help. This should hopefully, let's see where the BPMs go, or BMPs go. Hopefully this tank will be able to, should. I hope they are targeting that, because if we can get falling back, kind of have to try to get these tanks to kind of go around and hit these things from behind. We really need to get these AA pieces into range of those helicopters. And we're probably going to make this danger close. I was hoping they would be able to take out the Shilka, but unfortunately not. So we're really going to see how this, okay, we got some missiles. That was probably ill-advised. At least we should have had some smoke preventing another flank there. We'll see how this, we'll see how they panic with the napalm strike. Ooh, that was a nice napalm. Whether the, I don't, okay, we need to get these guys out. All the troops are dead. But it will do a number on the, really, they are driving. Okay, these guys got them from the side, so that was nice. These BMPs are, I don't think a BMP-1 by itself has any ATGM. Yeah, I think it has to be the P that has the ATGM. What I'm probably going to do is I'm going to try getting my tank to Alpha, and I'm going to use some artillery smoke to cover it. I do not know what's shooting from, yeah, there's something. Okay, now those BMPs, well, there's commanders, only 2 of them. Those definitely have, yes, they have an ATGM on them. And this is, you know, something that comes with, you know, experience. They can still see through the smoke. I guess they got a very narrow. Must be in the middle or something. Most likely after these guys take the points, we're just going to be retreating. I don't know whether, based on where they're shooting from, I'm guessing that's reinforcements that are coming out. Those might be, I don't know what it is yet, but based on the number of tanks there, it's probably cheap tanks, so I'm guessing T-55s, but I'm not entirely sure. Because it looks like that is some sort of tank shooting at us, and if I can ever get the recon in range, and based on how fast they're going down, I'm guessing T-55s, just because that's an overstrength platoon of tanks too. Okay, that's a lot of artillery. And I know it's a tank, but apparently I haven't identified what kind of tank yet.
New task force available.
T-55, which I thought these also had maybe ATMs on, or ATGMs on them. So we can see that the time is actually, well, let's choose a new next task force. And I've been kind of ignoring the points down there because I really haven't needed them, but I'm saving up some points for the next objective. Since we're on the far left, most likely we can start sending stuff somewhere in the middle on the right there, because one of those two will be called in. So, I really want something with recon in it right now, because only having that one recon unit is really being a bit of a pain. I might just go with this one. I really don't. Because the thing is, I really won't be using these all that much, because I already have too many of them. Let's see what we got here. Maybe I'll go with the cheap ones, but once again, or maybe we'll go with this. It would not hurt to have another AA unit out there. Potentially, or at least potentially one we can bring in. This one's a little, I usually prefer a cheaper dedicated A unit. Because you don't need a lot to scare off helicopters. And usually missile-based ones, I think a lot of the time are just too slow to really sometimes stop airstrikes. But I might take this one because that'll be some. I do like my martyrs. And our Lukes would not hurt. I'll probably go with this one. I mean, I said that artillery strike is not my favorite. I've been kind of laying my tactical support points once again. I should honestly just be shooting some of these off, but once again, I have not felt hard pressed on any of these fronts. So we'll call that in. And we'll unpause. Most likely to see, I know the next two ones are going to be somewhere here or someone here. And honestly, I'm just going to start taking all this stuff out. I want to get the points back for it. Because we're going to be having, none of them are in a great position. If the spawn is here, it'll be fine, but most likely there's an equal chance that the spawn will be here. So that's why I'm kind of setting things in between, and then depending on where it goes, I should hopefully have some guys ready to take whatever spawns. Ooh, wow. Okay, well, far in the far right. So we'll probably, this is gonna, we can see the helicopters are in play again. Just getting a ton of points back now. Probably gonna want to bring in the AA relatively quickly off the bat. Turn off their weapons. I wonder if I can actually reach this point and take it. To use some artillery illumination to see if anything's coming up on there.
Zone captured.
So I know there's going to probably be a lot on the left. I'm probably going to send my full strength Leopard 2 platoon out there because there's probably going to be a lot of combat. Send the recon unit over here. I probably want more infantry over there, some more martyrs over there because there's a decent amount of trees that they can kind of hide in, but I do probably want to send a tank over there as well. Probably want to get these into this forest here.
Zone
So
captured.
go there, queue up some of the orders, and then kind of have the AA ready to pop out, have these guys ready to pop out. Turn that off. This hill here, it's probably now or never, so I should send that guy there, because we know the guys are primarily right now, since they had, the AA is pretty bad about speed. Sometimes it's better faster just to despawn your units and then bring them in fresh, because stuff will get there in about the same amount of time, but you'll have full health, full ammo. I'll probably, this is an interesting hill, probably want to get in that forest. See these BMP-1s are advancing. Now is probably the time. Okay, that one's an interesting one. What are they doing? This is actually an interesting one. If you go through water, you can actually get a negative defense bonus. You don't see that very often, but okay, we got some T-72s there. One thing I did forget to bring in is I did not bring in the mortar. I do not know why I didn't send those guys further up, but I didn't. Okay, we got
Zone captured.
Forgot to also send in our tank, get the infantry out of there. This is where perhaps allowing them to add their support with their autocannons may help. Okay, we got a lot going on here, so we're gonna try napalming that to try. Yeah, we're getting. Okay, that's gonna be a problem right there. There's nothing I can do about it. We'll see if the hill provides any cover. This, I don't think we're gonna get any drops on that. We'll see. And yep, that was unfortunate. Okay, I was not paying attention to that. They got really hit hard by something.
New task force
Probably those
available.
assault engineers probably did a number on them once they close the distance. Okay, back up, back up. Gotta keep a closer eye, because these guys got caught in the open, so that is not good. I'm just hoping to win against those BTRs and be able to advance on the point. These guys are dug in right now. Good thing I got the tanks coming over here to provide some help. Fall back. The T-55s normally will not be that much of a problem, but combined with the T-72s. Normally artillery strikes are just not, honestly, the best course of action, but I'm just trying to panic them a little bit. If I can bring back in, oh, I forgot I have a new task force. This is where the helicopter team might come in handy. With all those tanks on the left with no, it does not look like they have any AA support. So I am probably going to bring in the helicopter team just because I need that maneuverability to come in. So we'll probably go out here and attack, try to get as many side shots as possible into there. And even though these guys are kind of in the open, since they're not doing anything, no one really sees them. Probably want to back up that artillery. It's probably time for these guys to potentially... no, more T-55s. Wow, this is just unfortunate. So... try to get that... actually, those autocannons, yeah, it's just only AP4, it's not going to be enough. Unfortunately, those helicopters decided to go for something I did not. Okay, there is AA out there. They just took a shot at me, somewhere there. So we'll try attacking them from the front there, because the line of sight on the trees may block. Yeah, the T-55s, even though I'm on a front engagement with these guys, you can kind of see the shots bouncing off the Leopard 2. The Leopard 2, okay, these guys are out of ammo, so let's get them out here. Theoretically, I can't remember if meeting engagement or free supply works or not, but it's usually not worth the time. It's usually faster just to have them retreat and just rearm that way and get the points back that way. Okay, here we got a problem. Those helicopters are probably breaking the cover was not a great idea. This is where the 2nd AA unit might come in handy. And send some troop infantry over there.
Zone lost.
Actually curious, I can't even see what is. Oh, that's right, I never got that. Never mind. See, they're only now taking Bravo. A BMP-2, I believe, should have an ATGM on there, so you got to be careful of that. T-72s, they're not that great of tanks, but you can just take a look here at the. Yeah, you can see their front armor is not that great, and the Leopard's 2 gun can easily penetrate that front armor. Might have a little bit difficulty in range. There's that AA that was causing me trouble. The BMP-2s here might be a problem. I would like to advance on Echo, but honestly with the time left and those helicopters are actually being hit. Might actually be able to take it with the recon units, but honestly have to start thinking about retreating and start moving units over there. Hopefully they might not actually be able to see Luke's on the Echo point, so even though they're kind of in the open, they're honestly this isn't going to help. This isn't going to help. Everything over here, theoretically I don't need to take these ones out because they really haven't done anything, so I'm just going to have a fast move, but the Leopards are out of ammo. These guys low on ammo, well, 50%
Zone
is fine,
captured.
but no reason keeping any of this stuff around. Start moving, spawning stuff to get it, depending on where it will spawn over there. It's going to take a while to get some of those points. Okay, good thing I kind of left those guys there. So it's going to be the middle point, which is going to work out. Since the AI still has a bunch over here, they're probably going to be able to take places like Echo, Delta, Charlie relatively easily. Bravo is going to be a little bit of a problem taking because there may be some emplacements for the enemy AI along this hill somewhere that I have not cleared out. So rather than if I knew there was no emplacements, I would have this unit go for that as fast as possible. But most likely they will need some support.
Zone captured.
This one, I don't. We'll find out how many pre-placed units are in the middle of the map. Try getting a mortar back on the field. More tanks on the field. Cover the flanks. I want more martyrs, because the martyrs do come with some air defenses as well. I should also remember to get my AA out there. Okay, so these look like pre-in-place units here. This is where having a heavy artillery might come in handy. Napalm also probably, honestly. Will be the answer since I have so many points. Once I take Alpha, I'm going to want to get that Luke's off of it as fast as possible. Here's a nice city to actually I want to get these guys into that city because they'll honestly have a
Zone captured.
napalm off. They panic too much and they got a little bit. I don't think they'll be able to burn that infantry down now. Oh, they did get a little bit. Okay, that's nice. Let's set up in these houses over here. Oh, that was actually, now that I look at it, the line of sight is terrible on that. That was a silly idea. Okay, they can kind of see now. Maybe? Okay, this is actually a bad place to set up. I regret this. Yeah, these trees are causing me a bit more trouble than I thought they would. At least those mortars are, I'm gonna just have to move these guys up, there's no choice. I don't want to, but... Get some artillery illumination out there. These T-55s, yeah, might just be within range, so I gotta get these guys out of here. Oh, assault engineers, that's gonna be... No, we're gonna... They might be able to get enough side shots to murder the assault engineers. This is kind of what I
Zone captured.
dislike the most right now, is I'm kind of just getting in nearly knife fighting range with just about everything. These guys can probably see that. I want to get smoke on them. Helicopters might come in handy here. And these guys are getting eaten up.
Zone lost.
Yep, that was unfortunate. I'll try napalm. It's a lot of tanks, so napalm is not going to do a ton, but it will... Yeah, they're in trouble in a lot of places. These ones, they're in forest, they're not technically in the buildings. Okay, they can see. So, yeah, these light tanks are fast. Well, they're not relatively that fast, but they are definitely doing a good job just closing the distance. These assault engineers have been doing a great job. These guys are out of ammo. Okay, and one thing I have not been paying attention to, but I do not know which way this is going to go, is that since now we're in the middle, I do not know whether we're going to go on the left or the right, so I really having a difficult time potentially pre-placing units. Hopefully these guys just keep moving up and definitely when I have the okay, they are, you know, line of sight says they can't really see it. Okay, so we're back here. Start sending stuff to. These guys are pretty much out of ammo. Not really keeping them in the fight. These guys are getting low on ammo, but we can get these guys in. Actually, I'm gonna send them this way, and I'm gonna send these guys here. Probably taking enough damage that these guys can just simply retreat, get the points back for it. I'm not getting close. The helicopters are back, but we got most of our ammo in our AA unit there. The mortars. And we can just. That was
5 minutes remaining.
probably not worth it to retreat them, honestly, with the time left. That was probably a mistake. Um, but we do have another one we can bring up right away because we have two. That's a nice thing. Well, technically I don't want two on the map at the same time. Having a second one there to bring up right away when you retreat the other one is nice. Probably want to spawn another leopard. This one I'm probably going to want to spawn on the left there to try moving up on Bravo. Probably retreat this guy up into these hills so we can have a look around. Normally I would retreat these guys. Ooh, that's going to be a problem. Let's see what that airstrike does. And some cluster munitions. We'll see what they do. These BMP-1s should not have any TGMs, but they do have 73mm gun on them, so they do have some ability to penetrate. Honestly, what I'll probably do is put an artillery strike there. Did not call these ones in yet. Want to get these guys into the hills. Might have to call another AA unit to stay on the other side of the... Okay, time to get these guys out of here. Those helicopters are having a field day. Eating up our emplacements, unfortunately. Ouch. Probably the faster way to get out of here. Bring up more AA on the left, because that hill is unfortunately causing us some discomfort. You can see them. Surprised by that, but I do not know where they're they must have ran out of ammo. That's why they retreated them. I don't think my infantry AA did enough. These guys are fully entrenched now. That's a good problem. Okay, it could have been worse. BMP-2s are going to be a little goofy because they're going to have some free range on me. These guys are so close that I might just wait to get the points for the Leopard 2A4 platoon. Because honestly, they're just heading right towards my spawn, which is interesting. And these guys are getting eaten up infantry-wise. AI is doing a great job here near the end of the map, which is kind of why I prefer this to War Game, because by this point the AI would have lost so many units they never would have been able to mount this kind of defense. But with the way the game modes work in this one, definitely allows for the AI to come back if I start getting sloppy, which arguably I did. Honestly, no reason not to let these guys start shooting. And once again, I should have been... Ooh, that was unfortunate. Artillery strike should hopefully panic those T-55s. Honestly don't know what to do with this napalm. Guess there would have been the better place to throw it. Would have helped out those leopards on the side there. Wow, okay, I will throw it over here then. Even though it's...
Objective completed.
And, yeah, that's the game. Wow, I killed a lot more than I thought I did. Probably because the Schützenregiment focused more on, which makes sense as there's an East German unit, but focused more on quantity than quality, so that probably explains why the kill-to-death ratio is so high. I usually at the end of the game kind of just go through this slowly just to see what did what was effective against what, but it's usually not that important, but it is sometimes interesting for the viewer just to see what did what. Um, you can see a lot of BMP-1s, a lot of T-55s, which is probably why I was just getting so many kills. Those light PT-76s actually did a decent job throughout the game. BTR-70s I'm usually not that impressed by usually, but they did have a bunch of those. You can even see that the my AI emplacements or friendly emplacements did a great job at times. So there are M2 Bradleys, which I believe do also come with the tow launcher, so that's probably why they were winning these BMP-1 engagements so well. Um, so even though, yeah. Uh, This was unfortunate, but sometimes I do get a little too focused on one front, and then even though a unit's doing well for a while, eventually someone does get the flank on them or causes them to panic, and then things kind of can fall apart quickly. Um, it's usually not too bad if you know it's an inexperienced platoon, but you definitely want to try keeping a closer eye on your platoons that have a lot of veterancy, just because you want to retreat those and keep, when you retreat a veteran unit, you keep the veterancy. When a veteran unit is destroyed, it either loses all its veterancy or at least goes down in veterancy. So that's a double whammy, and it also takes longer. A destroyed unit also takes a lot longer to bring back in again than a retreated unit that's just re-equipping. So that's just something to keep in mind, and that's why usually I'm probably a little too quick on retreating sometimes, because I want to be able to get that unit back in, and also keep whatever veterancy it may have built up. But yeah, that is it for my rambling commentary during this one. Probably wasn't a lot of great insights provided. There's a lot of uh, better commentators and YouTube for this. I'm just a so-so player. There's a lot of more experienced ones, though. I think probably a lot of them also stick to more multiplayer focused ones, such as War Game, War No, because you can often get more interesting games when you're playing against a human player. But sometimes uh, humans are actually worse than the AI. Uh, in some of those games, especially sometimes in War Game, War No, everyone says the AI is trash, and it is trash to a degree, but it keeps coming at you, and some players just don't know how to handle that. Um, because with a human player is usually much more cautious. It's kind of like in this game, the AI is sometimes overly aggressive, but because of the way the point structure works in this game, where you get your units back, even for a failed assault, the AI can kind of rally again, like it did in at the end of this game. I mean, I was way too far ahead, but unlike a game like War Game, War No, at this point, the AI would have exhausted all of its reinforcements and probably not had enough points to bring anything else in either, and I would have just easily been dominated by the end of the game. So I prefer Regiment's approach to the more, well, call it the world and conflict model, where you get a set amount of points, and when you lose a unit, you slowly get those points back, so you can come up to full strength again. You can turn the game around. You can. There's always going to be throughout the game. You're gonna have some sort of threat. Well, in War Game, War No, very often those games are decided in the first 5 minutes. Whoever pretty much loses the first engagements is really never able to recover, because they don't get back more points for losing units, so they can, rearm and come back at you. And most likely you've dug in so much that, or whoever won the first engagements has dug in so much that you'll never be able to dislodge them. So uh, two different design philosophies, neither one is wrong. I just find that well, this isn't a multiplayer game. It would actually be great as a multiplayer game because it would keep you engaged throughout. But I believe this model is much more exciting throughout the game than some other real-time tactics games out there that just, yeah. So anyways, hopefully you found it interesting, informative, whatever. Maybe I'll do more of these in the future. Maybe have it a little bit more streamlined as I was talking about other things than just the game I was playing, but we will see. And I hope you enjoyed. Bye.